record? All right, now we're recording. So first things first, I am going to show you guys the syllabus.
Okay.
And this will later be emailed to all of you once we start this process. Don't worry, you'll all have a copy. All right, so I'm going to just read through this because I want to go over everything. It might be a little monotonous, but let's try it. Okay, so just a little brief course description. This is a 1-unit credit, no credit, collaborative learning course designed to help improve your study efficiency, test performance, and writing competency in Govt 1. This is not a lecture course. I am not here to lecture at you guys. This is a discussion, because we want to have this directly in a discussion format to review readings and prepare for exams and improve writing skills. Students will have the opportunity to ask questions regarding lectures and assignments as well. Prior to exams, in-depth review sessions will be held to help the group prepare for the course. The course is centered on student success. The schedule of topics and dates will generally follow the schedule outlined in the Govt 1 syllabus. So as you guys know, you're being tested pretty much every day if you're not a studio student. So each of our sessions is going to be a in-depth review session, essentially. Thursdays is going to be more of a study skill and review session because we're just going to be reviewing the lecture from Tuesday, so we'll have more time to focus on study skills, such as essay writing. What this course is not. First and foremost, this is not a remedial course. It will start off fairly easy in the beginning and become more difficult as the course continues. Additionally, this course is not and should not be considered a substitute for lecture. Students who choose to just attend SI class will miss valuable material and study time in the regular lecture course, as well as their quizzes and tests. This adjunct course is designed to prep you for lecture and not replace it. Lastly, this course should not be considered an occasional tutoring session. Once you sign up, you're enrolled in the course, not an occasional lab. The course objectives kind of just reiterate what I just said. So let's go on to course requirements, attendance policy. Because this is a credit or no credit course, there won't be any graded assignments. Credit is based on mandatory, based on attendance. Sorry, I skipped into the other sentence. Based on attendance and quality of student participation, therefore attendance is mandatory. Please be prompted to log into class. If you must leave early, please email me ahead of time. If you have more than 3 unexcused absences, you will receive a grade of no credit for the adjunct section.
I have a quick question. Do we just, to get credit for showing up that day, do we just log in and you log our names, or do we have to do it ourselves?
Let me get into that.
Okay.
And actually, because by signing in, you are essentially, I will have an attendance log at the end of this session, so I'll be using that to give you guys attendance credit. That make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. If you have more than 3 unexcused absences, you will receive a grade of no credit for the adjunct section. I really don't like giving no credit. So let me get back to that. Well, I don't like giving no credits. I'd rather give you guys credit for this, which is why if you guys are absent that day, you can make up by watching the recorded session and then submit to me a page of notes, just like the people who do it on a delayed basis would do. If you have an excused absence, such as the death of the family, medical emergency, etc., please just notify me by email. You'll be asked to provide documentation, of course, so I can't excuse it. Attendance requires that 1, you are logged in and paying attention for the full 50 minutes, and 2, that you submit a question that you have about the day's reading before the meeting to a Google Drive folder that I will give you all access to. First question, just email it to the email that I have on here, which is the VLALO503 email address. And that from there I'll be giving you guys access to the Google Drive folder. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So yeah, for further class absences, you will need to contact me to determine what needs to be made up that day. And like I said, it will just be a page of notes that you did on watching this recorded session. Once your makeup work has been checked off, the absence will be excused. If we have more than 3 unexcused absences, you won't receive credit for the course. Note, you're only allowed to make up 4 additional unexcused absences because the effectiveness of the course is lost with a high frequency of absences, which is why there's people not checking.
Okay, so you can like not attend, watch it, but then submit a page of notes, and that would affect you. It won't like hurt you for like one.
Yeah.
Okay, so Vanessa, so we don't have to have Google Docs notes if we don't miss the day, because I have a notebook right now and I'm about to take notes if we're gonna do anything that needs note taking today.
Oh no, you don't have to do any notes if you are live.
Okay.
But we do have to submit a question.
Yes.
Okay.
Just that way I can help guide the SI session and really focus on what you guys are having trouble with. And do you guys have any other questions, or are you good to move on to the add and drop policy?
I'm good.
We're good.
Good? Okay.
I have a question about the news article homework, but should that wait until later on in the session?
Well, we have a couple of people who are in the studio, so you can ask it right now, real quick.
Okay, so I think I've asked this question several times, and I've already forgotten. Do we have to print the news article that we found, or can we just link it? Can we just link it? Can we just copy down the link?
No, you just bring the summary. You don't need the article or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what do you need to do? Do you need to have the author, the title, and the date, or do you have to link it if it's online?
So you need to have the title, the link, and the author, and then a short summary.
Okay, and how recent does it have to be?
I would say keep it within the week, like.
Okay.
Just to keep it relevant.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's move on to the add and drop policy. If for any reason you have to drop Gov1, you have to drop the SI section separately. You won't be automatically dropped from the SI section if you drop just Gov1. So you would receive a grade of no credit if you just stop the test and everything. And so important to know is that all drops must be completed by September 21st. Did y'all hear that?
No.
Okay. No. All drops and adds must be completed by September 21st.
Okay.
I'm sorry, who was that who just spoke? Did you say something, Connor?
Yeah, this is me.
Can you repeat the question? It was kind of muted.
I didn't ask a question.
Oh, for some reason I thought.
I think it was background.
Okay, background noise. Never mind. All right.
Because
That makes me glad I don't have my headphones in.
and I put a note on Friday regarding
I hear some background noise. I don't know who it's from, but okay. So, and then as far as adding, once I finish going through the syllabus, we're all going to go through the process of self-enrollment together. That way you all are added. Okay, so, yeah. All drafts must be done by September 21st, 2016. Class policies. Please come each day with your textbooks and notes and syllabus having and having completed the reading assigned by Professor Friedman as best to your ability that you can. Yes, Emily?
So here's another problem for me. It's hard to tell what he's trying to get you to read because his methods of conveying such is really hard to understand.
Okay. It seems like several of you are having this problem as well.
I don't think it's like.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to give up and read the whole book because it's really unclear. I'm just going to read all the books and that's it.
Well, no, because like even last week before the Tuesday's test, he gave us like a study guide for the test, and then like all the questions were pertaining to the Ginsburg text, but then like the test was actually on the Louisiana article.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like hard to know unless you're like going to do every single reading to know like what to actually try to narrow down what the quiz is going to be on.
I wish this was something we could take up with him because this is something that's probably bothering every class he's ever had.
Yeah, it is. I mean, yeah, it's like Tuesday quiz is kind of like, oh, well, is he going to do it on the Tuesday readings or the Thursday readings? And it's really confusing because then you guys have to have all that information stored in your brain to complete this quiz.
I'm not worried about the amount of reading. I'm just worried about actually finding the reading.
Have you been to this page that I'm on right now?
Yeah.
So I mean, for say Tuesday, you have to read the second chapter of the Ginsburg text.
Okay. So that's We the People, right?
Yep. Yeah, all of chapter 2. Yeah. Which is something that I would suggest that you use, oh wait, I'm looking at the wrong one. I apologize. I'm looking at the old one from spring. Because I was going to show you the study guide. The study guides help, but they're not as, like, in-depth.
Yeah, because I did all the questions from the study guide, and none of them were on the test.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something I've never really been able to, like, I've kind of talked to him about it, and I've tried to be like, this is a lot for people to try to sift through and find out what's important, which is why he decided to do the study guides, because this is the first semester he's ever done study guides. I made my own study guides the previous semesters and everything to kind of help guide. But yeah, I mean, I wish I had a better answer for you, Emily, as far as what specifically, besides what pages he's numbered.
Yeah.
Though, once I add you all, you will have access to the course content in my in the SI class, and I have my own study guides in there, and I also have videos that might help kind of get at what he's trying to focus on. And also, this session right here is going to be a big help because I do have kind of an idea of what he wants because of what questions he's asked in the past, but he never asks the same questions.
Yeah.
So it's really frustrating. I apologize. I wish I had a better answer for you guys. Yeah.
So basically, what we should probably do is like, it says G1, GC, you know, 3. We should just label our books with stickers that say that. So that way we just know.
Yeah, okay, so you were confused by the terminology that he uses right here?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's explained on his page.
Yeah, let me show you right here. So look at right here where I'm highlighting.
Uh-huh.
Well, A indicates readings in the annual. G is for Ginsburg, We the People. Little c is for the readings in canon. That's the enduring debate book. And then GC stands for Governing California.
Okay.
And then R is for the readings on the web. All right, so I want to move on to the class policies. And then at the end of this, I'm going to add, we'll go through the self-enrollment, and if there's any questions, we'll go through those, okay?
Okay.
Okay. All right, so please come each day with your textbooks, notes, syllabus, and having completed the reading assigned by Professor Friedman. I mean, I know because you only have so much time for this session and everything, and you won't have time to read all of the reading. But please try to complete them as best as you can, so that way we can actually have a discussion, because I'm not here to lecture at you guys. We're here to have a discussion. And so, I mean, if you fail to come prepared, I might ask you to leave because you're just kind of mooching off of everybody else if you don't do the readings and then you come to the discussion and you're like, okay, hey guys, what was the readings about? So, yeah. And then please send me a question on that day's reading before our session at 6. I'm going to have this be kind of a flexible requirement because I know life does get busy, but it would help us as a class totally if you submitted your questions, because then I know what to focus on for you. Secondly, please respect your peers. Turn off your phone if you're not using them to try to find something that is contextually important to what we're talking about. Don't text or check messages while we're having our session. It's kind of rude to the people that you are talking with. Just think of it as being in a regular classroom. Okay, so it's election season. Things are really heated, and everyone is entitled to share their opinions without fear of reprimand. So please treat everyone with respect that is also due to you. Especially because this is a government class, and we will be discussing potentially sensitive topics. I want my classroom to be a safe zone for all. I mean, from Trump supporters to Hillary supporters to Bernie supporters to anything in between, or Gary Johnson, you know? I want this to be a place where we can discuss and not argue, if that makes sense. All right, On to the reasonable accommodation policy. If you have a disability and require accommodations, you need to provide disability documentation to Services for Students with Disability, SSWD. For more information, please visit the SSWD website at http://www.csus.edu./sswd/. They're located in Lassen Hall, 1008, and they can be contacted by phone or by email. Please discuss your accommodation needs with me after class or during my office hours early in the semester. And so there is also another resource for you guys is the Writing Center. There's free one-on-one help with writing in any class in the Writing Center over in Calaveras 128, as well as in Park in Lassen Hall in 2200. Lassen and Park, you can go for tutoring for pretty much any general subject, which is really cool. And if you are looking for tutoring in a specific subject, you can ask them to see if anybody there can do that. And they will send out an email trying to find it. So that's really neat because they're trying to accommodate you guys. So, and then just another thing, my office hours will be Tuesday, Thursday, 12 to 1 p.m. in Lassen Hall, 2200F. Do you guys have any questions about the syllabus, or are you okay?
We're good. I
We're
think
good. So if you missed the class, you would take. And sorry,
Put yourself on, because you're muted right now.
There we go. If you missed the class and you take notes on it, at least when you want to say by the next session, the next class?
Yes, please. And then everybody else good on questions?
Yeah.
All right. Now let us do the self-enrollment process. Okay. So I need emails. Okay. So I have Buddy. Karina, have you sent me an email before?
No, I haven't.
Okay, what's your email address?
My Sac State one.
Whichever one you're gonna check.
It's Karina Martinez 2 at csus.edu.
Karina Martinez 2 or a dot?
Yeah, that's right. How you have it.
Okay. csus.edu. All right. And then I have Camille already. Emily, have you sent me an email before?
Excuse me, what?
Have you sent me an email before, Emily?
Not sent. I should have signed up with my CSUS.
Can you give me your email so I can add you?
Yeah. Emily Kyle at csus.edu.
All right. And then Connor, got you, I got Elizabeth. Well, it looks like Oscar dipped out on us. So, yeah, okay. So I will send this to you guys. All right. Now, open your emails if you can, and we'll go through the self-enrollment process.
So what are we doing? We're self-enrolling, or have you
Yes.
already gotten my email?
Go to your email.
Okay. So okay. So
Because there's a self-enrollment link and an access code, so I'm giving that to you guys now.
and just click on the link.
Well, let's have everybody, I want to get confirmation from everybody that we're all on the same space.
Okay.
So, have you pulled up your email? Okay. And Karina, have you seen the email?
I'm looking for it right now.
Okay.
And I've got it.
Okay. Thank you for your patience, Camille and Elizabeth. Okay. Have you found it, Karina?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. And you've got it? All right. Now, everybody, click that link that is in the email. Once you've clicked it, it should say user not enrolled in this course, like red. And then under it is a little hyperlink that says click here to enroll. You all see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Click that.
Access denied. Okay.
Yes. So now you're on access denied, right? Now on the left-hand side, on the bottom of the fall 2016 column, there's a thing that says enroll. And click on that. And so it should take you to a self-enrollment page. And so from there, the self-enrollment page is asking for an access code. And so the code that I put under the link, that's the code that you put into your little submit button and stuff. Yes, it is case sensitive.
Okay, and that's it?
Yeah, you should see action successful.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. You got it, Connor?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How about you, Karina?
Yeah, I think I got it.
Okay, cool. And then you got it? Cool. All right, sounds good. So now you are all enrolled in the course.
Cool beans.
Yeah.
I love how this is the only page with like color.
Yeah,
Every other one's like black and white.
because I figured out how to customize it. So go back to the sharing screen, and I'm going to show you guys some things about my page.
Go back to the what page?
The Zoom page.
Go to the Zoom screen, where you can see where I'm sharing my screen. You all on it? Okay. So in here in the blue, I have some study tools for you guys to use. We're probably going to be going over them later in our semester and everything, but if you want to take a look at them now, it's also useful. I've also included the essay rubric that your guys' insights will be graded on. You can look at that. So you know how we have tons of different subjects and everything for this Government 1 class? I have a folder for each of those subjects. And so as you see, there's one that's red right now. That, this is I'm gonna do, the folder that's in red is the folder that we're on that day, just as frame of reference. And so in here, I'm going to have a link to the professor's study guide. I have a video, and I'm gonna put in a worksheet that I'm gonna upload to the Google Docs that you'll all have access to, and you guys can all work on it together and use it as kind of a collaborative study tool. That way, if you want to work on it, because these questions are a bit more specific to the articles and everything than the professor's study guide, so it may be useful.
It's another like formal study guide.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And so I would say also, if you're having trouble understanding kind of the point of like the Ginsburg text, then I would say to watch these little videos that I have uploaded. Kind of 9-minute videos and everything, and they concisely explain what is in that Ginsburg chapter, essentially. And then I also have like some games that we'll be doing later in the semester. That'll be fun, hopefully. So, do you guys have any questions?
Nope.
No.
Who had a question? Emily?
Oh, no, I said not at the moment.
Okay. Camille's good. Beatrice, you're good. Rita, you're good. Elizabeth. Okay. Cool. All right. So, do you guys want to discuss the? Do you guys have any questions on today's readings that you would like to go over? Or do you guys want to try to go through just like?
Yeah, can we just start from the top? Ginsburg 17 to 24. Or actually, can we go over the
17 to
study
24,
guides?
right? Or those chapters?
I'm sorry, 2 people spoke at once. What did you say, Connor?
Oh, I was gonna say either that, or can we go over the study guides?
And then what did you say, Emily?
Those are pages 17 to 24 or chapters 17 to 24?
Pages.
Okay.
Yeah. Would not put you through the cruelty of assigning 17 through 24.
I wouldn't know.
I wouldn't read.
Yeah, that is a true point. Like, he that bullshit. So yeah, that is a valid question. Never mind. So yeah, we can go through the study guide, and we want to start with the study guide for immigration and ethnicity.
Sure.
Yeah, that's September 8th. Oh, so there was only one question. Okay. So I'm gonna upload my. Wait, actually, if we go into content, I already have my issues of immigration and ethnicity worksheet here. So we can go through that as well. And you guys can also look at that too if you're having trouble. Okay. So, R1, Dreaming Against the Odds, The Weight of a Family's Hope, and 2 Jobs and a Sense of Hope by Annie Hall. So, could one of you describe the life experience that any one of these immigrants portrayed in the Washington Post series?
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
Do any of you remember one of the stories that was included in the 3 Dreaming Against the Odds in that article? Because you know how it had like 3 stories?
Oh, yeah.
Betty, do you want to?
Yeah.
Okay, let's unmute you.
Okay, so the first one was about basically a Hispanic immigrant, and how she came young to the United States, and they were living kind of not in like a very good neighborhood. It was okay, it was decent, but they were still faced with like a bit of ghetto-ness and a little bit of like, you know, like bad vibe from it. And so basically her mom just worked 24/7. Well, not 20, she worked almost all her daylight time. And so her mother really never focused on if her kid was keeping track in school. She was just focused that she was going to school. She thought that if her daughter was going to school, it was all good. She was learning, when in reality, it said in the text that her mom didn't understand that it's not only just going to school. She didn't understand what other part it was to it. So basically, like, she would sell on her porch with her mom. Eventually, when she got older, she would sell like corn and stuff like that. Basically, they had a little concession stand on their front porch. And eventually, just kind of like as the story went by, it just kind of got, their situation got worse and worse and worse. She was failing two of her courses, and basically her parents were really in the picture. Her parents got divorced, and her mom was always working, so therefore there was no parenting going on. She was taking care of herself. And so eventually she met a guy, and she got pregnant by him. And she thought like she was gonna be okay. She's gonna go back to school. She was gonna put her kid in like this like one daycare that's called like Cream something, and she didn't realize that the daycare was like over $1,000 a month. So she was basically living this dream that, oh yeah, I'll figure it out. Even if I'm pregnant, like I'll figure it out. But basically the moral of the story is that times get hard even if you're here, even if you get accustomed to the United States and the way, you know, things roll, it's still hard, and you make bad decisions based on the environment that you're living in. Because basically what the author was implying in this, as the relationship between her parents got worse and worse and worse, that's when she was failing classes, and she wasn't even going to, I think she wasn't even going to school at one point. It would rain, then she wouldn't go to school, and then eventually she got pregnant from the guy.
Mm-hmm. And then after, so after she got pregnant and everything, did she go back to school?
She tried.
Okay, so she tried to go back to school. Do you think any of those three political values, the main ones, the liberty, democracy, and equality, do you think she had any of those values, or do you think maybe she might have other in American society or cultural values that kind of makes her an American, or do you think she's separated from American culture? Yeah.
Well, I think at one point she was, once that she got here, like she did have all of those available to her. She did have liberty available to her. She you know, when I first started to read the story, I can kind of relate to her because I was not born like in another country and brought here, but I was parents of English and Spanish speakers. So my parents always worked, and basically school was my responsibility. Like it was my, like, yeah, they cared if you got bad grades. Like they weren't as lenient as the character's parents. But I always was checking my own grades. Like I didn't have a parent looking at my grades having confidence. Like I was my parent in that aspect. And so yeah, at that point she did have that choice, but then she kind of, things got worse at home, and that's when she began slipping. She started failing, and that's when she had the liberty and stuff like that. I viewed it as she had the liberty and all those opportunities that US had to give her in the beginning of the story, and then eventually as she progressed and things got worse, she basically low-valued herself, and she was basically living the life of an immigrant that people stereotype.
Yeah. Did any of you and did anybody else read this article?
I guess if I were to try to like connect it with liberty, democracy, and equality, I'd agree with what Beatrice said, and how like when she had that family foundation sort of starting to break away, she started slipping up. And maybe that's why it's so hard for immigrants then and even now, is because for the privileged that are like already here, if there's like a family foundation that's like slipping away, they at least have at least other family members or friends or like other parts of society that'll like help them throughout their journey and schooling to adulthood.
Mm-hmm.
For like new immigrants, they don't have maybe all these benefits, so maybe they don't have equality in that regards. So that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Because she was obviously at a disadvantage because her mother was basically like her only source of support, and then once it was like too hard for her mother, then she started slipping, and she was at a less of an advantage than everyone else.
Yeah. It kind of shows that like having kind of structure and support from other people and having community really helps kind of you succeed in life, and without that it's hard, but not possible, which we kind of see in the last story from the guy who immigrated from Africa. I can't remember did he come from Mali, I think?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, he was just working, what was it, like 3 jobs just back to back, trying to kind of that individual entrepreneurship that we hear in, and also that in like conservative rhetoric where it's like, hey, you know, gotta pull yourself up by your bootstraps. And so, I don't know, do you think these, like, reflecting on these stories, do you think these people are un-American? Or do you think they're just as American? Or do you think these stories are very similar to ones that all Americans kind of go through?
I think they're similar, but maybe I think they appreciate the values that Americans like take for granted. Like in the second one about the Vietnamese family,
Mm-hmm.
The father told the daughter, like, people will call you doctor, not miss, her father tells her.
Mm-hmm.
And like she's going to America because there is that opportunity to where if you work hard, you can achieve the American dream. But it's sort of like misleading because all these immigrants that come, especially in the earlier years of American history, it was just super hard for them to get anywhere because they were at such a disadvantage because of discrimination.
Then I kind of viewed these 3 stories, like, even though the last one had a bit of like success, like, because like the first one got pregnant, and then the second one, like, she didn't end up becoming a doctor. She wasn't, you know, she wasn't as smart as her parents thought she was. And she just basically, the way I justified it was that she didn't want to be as smart as her parents wanted her to be. She wanted to be herself. She didn't want to be this like perfect person that her parents envisioned in her. And then the last one, yeah, he was successful, but he was working for almost, I mean, out of the 24 hours of the day, he was working at least like 17, like 17 counting the bus ride home and the bus ride to work. So I don't think that's, in a way, like, even though he was successful, it pointed out at one point where his family was saying that they thought he was rich. He thought like he was like basically kind of like a top dog. In reality, he's making it here. And so I don't really view that as success in my point of view, because yeah, he came, he's doing work that other people don't want to do. Like, it was really like, it kind of made me a little bit angry when he was saying that he was taking out the garbage, and then a guy came and threw away something in the garbage without a bag being there. And it shows that people don't appreciate people that do that, and they won't do it. Like, they won't respect the people that do it like that, some people, but yet they won't be that person to pick up trash and stuff like that. So in a way, I think all characters were not successful.
Yeah. And I don't think that it was trying to show their successes. I think it was more so trying to show what they were going through and trying to kind of show that, hey, I mean, immigrants live lives very similar to Americans who were naturally born. And they can still carry all of our culture and political values, no matter if they're from a different place. And in some ways, they might, like as Connor said, they might ascribe to those values much more deeply than natural-born citizens might, because they take it for granted, while these people who are immigrating here are like, okay, yeah, the American dream, like democracy, equality, liberty, this is why I'm coming here. So, just something to think about. I'd say go over this worksheet and use it while you're reading. I think we should move on to and go over the federal constitution one right here. So, what was the difference between the Articles of Confederation and the Constitution? Right, first, what are the Articles of Confederation?
Something that didn't work.
Could you explain that a bit more, Connor?
I actually didn't read that one, so I just know, like, from past experience, it was like flawed in many ways, and there were like holes in it. So, and even when it was implemented, it was really, really bad. But I just don't know what key aspects of it were bad.
And so, to kind of go back real quick, so the Articles of Confederation were essentially the first constitution that America had. And so, does anybody know what some of those problems were with the Articles of Confederation? No? Well, I guess that's something you're going to have to look up then. Because it's pretty important.
Oh, sorry. My mic was muted, but I mean, obviously, I just Googled it right now.
Well, you know what? That's using your resources. So.
So, like, no provisions were made for an executive branch to enforce the laws.
What does that mean in plain language?
So there is no, like, no executive. I guess there was no, like, executive branch. Like, you could pass a law, but then you need to be able to implement that law and make sure people follow it. And there was nothing in place to allow that to happen. It was just basically laws without any enforcement. So it wasn't really a law.
And so the executive branch, when you think of it, mainly just think of the president. So basically, the president was powerless in the Articles of Confederation. Why do you think they made the president powerless?
I'm sorry, what?
Why do you think they made the president so powerless?
Because they just separated themselves from a monarchy, so they wouldn't want one person to have total power. Exactly.
And so, what was the other problem with the Articles of Confederation?
There are no national courts to interpret the laws that were being made.
Mm-hmm. So, the laws aren't being implemented, and the laws aren't being interpreted or judged upon. And then another big thing was that the legislature and the executive branch could not tax any of the states. The states had complete sovereign power. Mm-hmm. So basically, when you guys think of the Articles of Confederation, think of it as just giving all of the states power. and then leaving none for the federal government, which is the central government, which is like, think of DC when you think of the federal government, and then when you think of local government, think of the states and further down. So in the Articles of Confederation, local government had power. And that doesn't really work for the United States of America, now does it?
Mm-hmm.
So what did the Constitution do?
It separated
Didn't
powers.
allow for federal government.
Go ahead.
No, you got it. You got it more than I do. I already know.
Mhm.
You got it.
It gave each branch enough power, so like they have equal power, so they have enough power to do what they have to do without overruling or one being stronger than the other. Like they were basically assigned their things they have power to do, and they have an equal amount of it. So
And didn't it, because whereas the Articles of Confederation had more power towards the states, and the Constitution gave back that power to the central government or the federal government, but by doing that, it also gave people certain liberties and rights that can't be taken away by the federal government. So like freedom,
The Bill of Rights.
the Bill of Rights.
And which is why the 10th Amendment in the Bill of Rights is states' rights. So at the end, they were like, okay, so we have all of these individual rights, and now we're going to protect the states' rights because we just gave ourselves, the federal government, a lot of power. And so what was a way that they gave states power in the legislature? Yeah. So checks and balances. So the legislature, it's divided into two houses. What are those houses?
The House of Representatives and the Senate.
Mm-hmm. And so how is the House of Representatives chosen?
By the popularity of the state.
Mm-hmm. So population of the state determines how many.
Oh yeah, population. Sorry, not popularity.
Yeah. Then there would be a popularity contest between California and Texas. That would get nasty. Not to mention New York. But yes, by population. So that's why we have 42 representatives in California, and New Hampshire has 1. And so that balance of power between population-wise, and then so how does the Senate work? How does the how many representatives does each state have in the Senate?
Just 2 from each
2.
state.
Mm-hmm. So why did they do that?
So everyone has an equal say.
Mm-hmm. That way, small states aren't pushed out by big states. And that way, and then the House of Representatives allows the population help make decisions. And okay. Yeah, and so as Connor said, the Bill of Rights was amended to the Constitution because there wasn't anything in the Constitution that protects individuals specifically. Okay, and so you guys are going to read Federalist 51 tonight. It's going to be really thick going. We're actually a little bit over time. I apologize for that. But go to the content folder under the Federal Constitution, and I've uploaded a Federalist 51 with some underlining so you guys can see the key points, because it's kind of hard to go through it. Federalist 51 is an online reading. I think it's the R1. for
Okay.
this Tuesday reading. So use it. It's gonna help you a lot.
For tomorrow's test?
Yeah, because I mean, it's basically describing how checks and balances was decided to be a thing. So just go over that because he might ask from it.
Okay.
It's under contract.
Okay, so we're in federal constitution in one.
So under federal constitution, there's going to be something that says Federalist number 51 with notes. And that's my kind of slightly annotated version of Federalist number 51 because it's hard to read because it was written in the 1700s.
Okay.
But yeah, so do you guys have any other questions or anything else you want to talk about? No.
I'm good.
All right, cool. Then let's end our meeting.
All right. See y'all Thursday.
Oh.
I mean, Wednesday.
See you
Tomorrow.
Wednesday.
Does enrolling in this course cost money?
Huh?
Like it does other courses? Does enrolling in this course cost money like it does other courses?
No,
It's free.
Okay.
great.
Okay.
I have a question. Do you want us to submit a question for Wednesday?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Are we submitting a question for this class period?
Not for this class period, just one for Wednesday. Because today's an intro day.
There's going to be an extra credit thing that he offered us for Wednesday during his class. Have you decided what you want us to do to be an excused absence if we attend the extra credit, just in case any of them go?
Yeah, I would like if you decide to go to this extra credit event, please email me and let me know, and then I'll have you do as the delayed basis people do, and just watch the recording and submit to me a page of notes.
All right.
All right, guys. See you later.
Bye. Bye.
Wait, are there
What was that, Emily?
credit?
Yes,
Extra credit?
it's on his page. Well, he made announcements for all the extra credit.
All right. Bye.
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 Bye.